Hey dudes, it's your friend, the Reverend Pirate Frog. Come join me in the circle with my bearded brother, Howlingbuds, the poet laureate himself, Stoney Alpinist, and of course, the better half of Frapple and my friend, Johnny Apple. Pass to the left and let's have some fucking fun.
La 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 la, la 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 la, average grow. La 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 la, la 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 la, average grow. Elmo loves his froggy, his apple too. That's your average grow.
Intro.
Okay.
You, time out.
La 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 la,
None-
la 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 la, Elmo.
One of these days, we'll do this professionally. Welcome to the circle. There's not supposed to be any conversation before I fucking introduce you, Fooks. I don't know why I said Fooks. You fucks. Regardless, let's start with Howling. Howling, how are you, you Fook?
Who the fuck you kidding? I'm doing great. Howdy, everyone.
Excellent. Stoney.
Oh, there's got to be so many levels of trademark infringement that just happened in the first 45 seconds. I'm doing
We don't
fucking
get
awesome,
paid.
man.
We don't get fucking paid a dime to do this shit. We're not
Exactly.
trading.
I'm
We don't
so
get
glad,
no-
dude.
Johnny,
I'm so
Johnny,
glad.
no
So
one knows
legal.
who you are. Welcome to the circle. You are now introduced, Mr. Johnny, the apple
Hi,
of
I'm
my
Johnny
eye,
Appleseed. That's about
and a
it.
very special.
Oh, yeah.
Goddamn, this isn't introduce yourself again. You just say hi. A very special guest who joins us again. BGG, welcome, the big green guy. Thank you for stopping and to this chaos.
Hi.
There you go. See, professional. No, the guest can introduce himself. No, I'm just kidding.
Thanks for having me, Rev. I appreciate it.
There you go.
And you are the Reverend Pirate Frog.
I am, unfortunately, tonight. But here we go. I
And
got the
every
short
night.
straw,
Last
and every
just
night.
checking.
Yes. Now, some nights it's okay. When I'm sleeping, it's great. No. Thanks for joining us, guys. I'm excited to get into a ton of topics. We did not prepare, so should we go into, before we make it all about BGG, should we go into the winner of the Hayes Grow Along?
Absolutely.
That sounds fair.
I'm excited
You
to
were
hear who it is.
you were a judge, so you should have some indication of who fucking won.
Well, I know I saw the picture that I was, hey, look at these pictures and pick one that you like. So I did, but I have no idea
Right.
who it is.
You don't gotta tell them how the sausage is made in our highly scientific way. We pick winners and shit. So
Sorry.
Howling.
Yo. Yeah, so we
Drum
actually it was pretty interesting. We had to jump in and the YAG crew had to vote. We had to split a tie between G3 and BGG and select from those two, which was the best one. And I thought it was a great photo. We all loved it. It's from Bird Dog Growers. He was growing the super orange haze, and it's a great shot. It's a great looking plant.
Great shot.
Happy that everyone was a part of this, and you'll hear this when this episode comes on, and then we'll announce it in Discord and hook up, and I'll send you your package. You're gonna get the book Higher. I've seen that recommended by a few people, and I've seen a few pages of it. It looks pretty cool. And then a pair of the Chickamauga trimmers that I know Mac and I and a few others praise quite a bit, and save your fingers from trimming. And then a few little Build a Soil goodies as well. So,
Oh, sweet.
Congratulations.
Not bad, man.
Yeah, man.
And the people who use those trimmers do fucking advocate for them.
oh, they do. It's life changing.
And I heard that the person might also be getting a sticker, like a Reverend Pirate Frog sticker, maybe.
Yeah, no, maybe in a couple months.
Oh, those are
I
exclusive.
don't know.
Okay, never
Yeah.
mind.
Those only
we're on
go
the slow
go
boat
out.
to the Central
If it
Coast,
makes-
man. It takes a long time. You got to go all the way around.
If it makes you feel better. Yeah, well, all my packages go to Guam first, apparently. But no, if it makes you feel better, that was the end of the Hayes Grow Along. A grow along that the podcast that you're listening to, and I'm a member of, and I still didn't get a sticker of the fucking podcast grow along. So don't be bitching to people about fucking.
it's on the slow boat on the other way around, man. They'll cross
The
paths
other
and
way
stuff,
around.
and they will. Yeah, we'll
I
just
don't
hope they
have
cross
one.
paths.
I don't have
It's
one
going
either.
through Guam, just a
Yeah,
long
They're
way.
great. I know. Johnny and I.
They're
don't get
wonderful
stickers of
stickers.
YAG shit.
No,
It's okay. We'll get our act together one day.
And
Well,
I have to say,
congratulations, Bird Dog
Yeah.
Grows.
Yes, absolutely.
That's
Congratulations.
very
Hey man,
impressive.
congratulations.
Amazing job.
Now,
And so now, do we don't want to jump right into the fucking next grow along? We might as well.
yeah,
You want
I
to
was gonna
update
say
that shit?
before,
We'll get the grow along shit right the fuck out of the way.
right?
How about that?
Yeah, get the YAG business out of the way, and then we can talk to
And then
this
we can,
asshole.
yeah.
I mean, BGG.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Johnny.
He was.
Stoney.
Yes. Yeah. I'm very
Fill
excited
us
about that.
in on the updates on the night owl grow along, and I know you have a requirement now. Not a
Yeah,
requirement.
it's a
but you would
minimal
like.
to not minimal
Yeah.
nominal to and
If you
guys are
want to
gonna probably-
participate, at least tell us.
Yeah, I mean, and basically, I've already fucked it up twice trying to explain it just before we opened up the show. So kick me in the shins if you guys can, if I get this wrong. But I went onto the Discord and I'm just starting to collect some names and addresses because we're going to do a giveaway on the first day of the opening of it, of the window for planting. So that day is officially listed as December 21st, the longest day. It's the winter solstice. Shortest day. Yeah, something. See, I told you guys got to kick me in the fucking shins already. So that day we're gonna do a giveaway. So here's what I'm asking. I just need to know your end and give me your contact information and your shipping information too, because we're gonna do some random draws all throughout, and I want to just be able to have everyone's name into a list that I can pop in and do random do a random generation of names and numbers. So come on over to either Instagram, send me a message, send me to the email at muddywax@gmail.com, or whatever fucking resource you can to reach out to us. You can catch me on Discord, but you'll just get stacked down and I probably will forget it or something along those lines. And I apologize ahead for it, but just stay after me. I did go back through the whole channel and I got a list of everyone that had started talking about what they were going to grow. So I'm hoping to know what everyone's at least got in mind or what they're hoping to sow over that. That way I can just have a cool list and it'd be really cool to see some of the things that are growing. And then that window of planting is going to go all the way until January 16th. So on that first day, we're going to do a giveaway. I've been brewing something up. I made a little concoction over probably, I guess it's been nearly a month or two now. It's going to be it's a little plant tonic. I think is going to be fun for either doing bonsai or for doing in your house plants. But I've been fermenting 5, 6, 7 different kinds of ingredients that I have had local, my apple tree out back. And I'm going to mix up a little something, a little potion, and send it off to the first giveaway along with some beans from my Night Owl collection, since I've got a pretty hefty archive of them and I'm ready to share them. So all sorts of fun, good things. But the way to get that is to make sure that I've got your information, got your name and your shipping so that I can get that out to you as soon as I can get the generation. I'm hoping to do it sometime around the moonrise of that day, because I think that'll be the kind of the communal time to get everything planting. So I'm really excited this one. I've already got mine set up. And I know everyone, I've been seeing people posting in the channel what they were going to be posting, and there's going to be some really cool cultivars going in there. So I know I've got the Harvey Wallbanger for sure going in, and I've got a list of a short list that's coming down to it, but seen some really cool ones in there. I know Big Green Guy, you've got some fun ones I think we were chit-chatting a little bit about. So what are you going to be popping in on this one?
So I have some that are pretty old. I believe these were from Daz's first release as Night Owl, but I have the foot cheese and the head cheese that I'm going to be growing for it. So I'm excited about that. I have no idea what the parents are. I know they are somewhere. One of the parents is related. I'd have to look on the packaging to see what it is. But yeah, I'm excited. I've been holding on to them for a while and just haven't had the opportunity to really pop them. So now, why not? What better time than try to go back to some of his OG work and throw it out there for the grow along.
Do you have any idea how long ago you got them?
I want to say it was over 3 years ago. So it was, I want to say first or second Night Owl release probably.
Wow.
Yeah, it's an older one. So
what kind of packaging? And the reason I ask is I know he does such cool packaging with his shapes, and they've evolved with every. Was he always doing
I don't
that
have
way,
the packaging anymore, but I do have the little discs that they still come in to this day.
Yeah,
and it has the Night Owl on it, and and then on the back of it I had written, because they were taking at the time it was taking up too much space with all the other seeds I had. Yeah. So I took them out, wrote the name on the back of each one, and they're in my vault.
Yeah, it's one of the things that I think when we pay so much money for these beans to get that value, there's a real value of the packaging experience. I know it's one of the things you take a lot of pride in with yours. You search every single drop almost of trying to find something unique or something interesting to do along with it, and it almost kind of time stamps and dates it. I know I still have my little Lego figure that came with mine, and I still love it. It still sits in my rock collection, and it probably
Rev,
always will.
How's your Lego?
What the? Yeah, what the fuck? You got a Lego? Howling and I are just wait. No, Howling, you.
Oh
have
no,
a
I
Lego
have
now
one.
too, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, fucking yeah. I don't get
Sorry,
shit.
dude. It's on the slow boat.
You
It's
know what?
around
Howling
Guam.
No,
got
it's
the
okay.
Lego that was supposed to go with one of the giveaways, but he decided to keep it for himself.
I did.
Well, that's-
Sorry.
No, I'm just kidding. I
That's
sent
very
Howling
smart.
one because I like him the best, and Stoney has one because he's one of my testers. I think
Yes.
Johnny has
Well,
one too, but
that's fair.
it's he probably sat on it or stepped on it and threw it across the room.
Which one
which
is this?
Which
No,
which
actually,
of
I
the many
found
that you've
somebody-
sent him?
I found somebody on Etsy that actually makes them for me. They're not cheap, but they're not super expensive either. So I thought it would be something cool originally to do for my testers. So everyone that is on the test team has actually gotten one of these.
It's really cool. Howling,
And
when
then
did you
I've
join
sent
the
them out
tester
to a
team?
few. Well, no, I've sent them out to a few other random people that I like. So
Yeah,
I
no,
never got a Lego.
You're a little too random.
No,
But even some of
Johnny and I are discriminated against even in our own fucking podcast.
I mean, even in your last drop, like the Tangy Wedding that I'm what, 40 days into now, the packaging that came across with that one, you definitely are stepping up with every single drop that we've seen, and really setting yourself apart from what a lot of people are doing. So I think it's really cool, and I'm anxious to see what the next drop will do and what sort of creativity. I mean, even just the little was it the little purple palm that I got in my seed for the Tangy Wedding. It's just an experience, and I think it back to where I was going with it, like Daz has got great packaging and all that sort of stuff that comes with it. And I think that's part of the experience that we have of purchasing these beans. You get valued in that space too, but also the volume of seeds, I think, is also important, especially when we get them directly from our breeders. So,
right.
And maybe that's a great way to kind of start talking about some of the fun, exciting things coming up with you, my friend.
Well, yeah. I mean, right now I've been doing a sale on my website, which I just launched back in the end of October. But until my birthday, which is December 13th, I'm actually giving 30% off the entire order on the website. So I mean, my seeds are already priced pretty low to begin with. And it was just kind of a way to give back to the community with the holidays coming. People, have other things they need to do. But anybody that, maybe hasn't gotten some of the stuff, and I put up some older stuff that from previous drops up there for people to grab. And some people have taken advantage of that. So it's pretty cool. And anybody that wants to, again, it goes till the 13th of December. And they just got to use the code BGG30 at checkout, and you'll get 30% off, and it's free shipping. So it's not like it's being made up anywhere else or anything like that. It's legit a 30% saving. So, and then on the 14th will be my next drop. So it's mostly just one main thing, and it's the testers know it as something different, but I'm calling it truck stop. So what
Johnny
it
used
is
to work
that
in a truck stop.
what do you mean used to? Oh no, he doesn't get paid anymore for that.
Yeah, now it's just a hobby.
Well, you mean eventually it no longer is a job when you love doing it.
It's not really a job when you wear a fishnet shirt.
I feel bad. Johnny's so sauced out that he's just taking it.
Yeah, it's all true. What do you want me to say? It's all true.
I mean, you know how hard it is flipping flapjacks, one of those shirts.
So,
No apron.
So
And make it look good.
Getting back to what the truck sauce actually is.
Truck stop.
Yeah, truck stop, not truck sauce. Thank you, Rev.
Sorry,
this is-
I was going to get.
I'm guessing
yeah.
sauce is in the lineage.
So sauce is not in the lineage actually, but this right here is good. So that's already smacking me pretty hard.
Hell yeah.
And I'll talk about that one later on too. So,
Yeah,
so anyway,
if you make it.
Mephisto, I had ordered some. It's actually Forum Stomper, I believe, from Mephisto, and with it came a freebie of Skywalker OG times Creme de la Creme.
Oh wow.
So I had reached out to a few different people that are in our community or whatever, and I asked, "Hey, does anybody have any of these? Because I want more." I ended up collecting almost 50 of them.
Wow.
And I grew them out, and I actually made more of them, so I would have an even larger amount to hunt through. This project has been going on for about 16 months or so now, so it's not a new thing that I've been playing around with. So it's that cross that I kind of hunted in that next generation of, I don't know if that was an F1 that was the freebie or what generation that was actually at, but I brought it forward again. And I hunted through a bunch of those, and I found 3 females that were very similar, and then one that was a lot different. And so the 3 that were similar had really nice bud density, and they grew vigorously, and they were really like cool looking plants at the end. They had some nice color and all that. The 4th one, the buds were much looser, so it'd be something that, say, someone that wants to wash the plant, they'd have a better time washing that particular one. So then moving forward, I actually took those and I pollinated them all together. I did an open pollination with all 4. So I reversed one of each of them, and then I had one of each of them also in as a female, from growing out the seeds of that. And that's kind of where I picked what I crossed the next thing, which is one of mine, which is originally when I made it, it was known as Odin Sons times Fenrir. Howling would know it as
Oh,
Put your goddamn
yeah.
hands down. Put your goddamn hands
Yes.
down.
he would know it as Odin's wolf. So it is that Skywalker OG times Creme de la Creme times Odin's wolf.
I haven't seen you that. I haven't seen you that animated in quite a while, my friend. That's awesome to see. Look at how
That
So and again, a lot of
true.
so there's different phenotypes that are showing it because of that kind of open pollination in my eventual pick. So in this, there's still the ones that are super dense, super like frosty still, and it has everything you want in that plant. And then there's another pheno that has all the structure and everything, but the buds themselves are a little looser, so it's a much better washer. If you go on to Discord or IG, onto Green Guy Genetics, or underscore genetics on IG, you'll see a picture of some of the bud in my grinder. That's the looser pheno. I'm going to be posting a picture over the next few days of the other pheno, which has the more dense buds, and you'll see the similarities, but also the differences. So someone that's looking to press the flower or wash it or whatever, the looser the bud, the easier it is to wash. You're going to capture those trichomes earlier. The heads will fall off and stuff. And then there's another picture that I just posted of, it was actually back 9. I had sent him a cone of it along with some of the seeds to start growing out. And you can see the rosin ring around the top of the cone. It's just basically almost dripping. And Rev and I had just actually talked the other day about me coming onto the show. So I wanted to actually get you guys each some of it to smoke, and I haven't had a chance to, but I will be. So you guys will all be getting something. So you guys can smoke it yourselves and see, what you think. But it has the phenos go from like pine mint all the way to like fruit and acetone.
Wow.
And a combination of some in between. So
pine mint.
It's like a pine mint. Yeah. So
Yeah.
like a menthol, not
Yeah.
so much menthol, but more like a mint. Like, you take a sprig and you suck it in your mouth. Mint.
That sounds wonderful.
It's almost like an aftertaste too.
Yeah.
So it's more that you get the pine on the inhale exhale, and then you'll be like, what is that? And it's like a little bit of mint as the aftertaste, which is kind of cool. And then again, on the other end, it's more of that fruit acetone. So
you're making me excited because I remember when I smoked Odin's Wolf that you sent me, it had like, all I could describe, and maybe this is like how people describe piney, like terps. It was like incense almost. It was just like a little Christmas tree in a cone, like incense. Like I walked into the hippie store type stuff. It was great. So, oh, this is making
And
me
that was
happy.
Odin's wolf or Odin's dog?
Oh,
Odin's puppy?
You're gonna
Sorry,
make
you
me
look too
emperor.
happy.
I am
Mongrel.
Johnny,
extremely happy.
did you just hurt yourself while we were recording?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen,
So-
a test
so
is
Johnny
You got
sauce.
very excited at that. Yeah.
Have you
got
been
very excited
smoking
about
the
the
sauce a lot,
fruitful-
Johnny?
What's that?
Have you been smoking a lot of the sauce, like recently?
I can't. Well, yeah, just now, yeah, I fucking killed a joint and a half of it.
Okay, well you can go back to sleep. That's okay.
Oh, did you
You
need
got
more?
very excited at No, you got very excited.
I don't know.
at the
I'm
fruit
just
and
wondering how you've been
acetone,
enjoying
Johnny.
it. If you have, if other people are in the process of growing it out, and maybe you can give them a little primer on what to expect.
I can only smoke so much of it. It actually, if I don't have a headache, it actually gives me one if I smoke too much of it. It does some sort of reverse action, but anybody I give it to that actually has a headache, the fucking headaches go immediately away. But
Yeah,
at
it's pretty-
night, I save it because I can't smoke it throughout the day because too much of it really literally does give me a headache. So I can only have so much of it. So I smoke it like at night before fucking bed, like a joint or two. And that's about what I can fucking get. Otherwise, it's like down. You're going down. There's your headache and ow. Sit. Go to bed, boy.
How long did you actually take it as far as in flower? Did you harvest that 56 days or did you take it longer than that?
The original sauce? Oh, way farther than that. Yeah.
Okay.
Everything went way farther than that. Fuck. 90 maybe.
Wow.
90
okay, so
days.
you took it real long.
Yeah.
That's probably why it's knocking you out.
I mean, so it's not ambering any sooner than that then. It's not
okay.
senescing any sooner than that. So I wasn't seeing any signs of senescence or ambering like she was finished.
Right.
I don't know. I'm used to, I guess I'd grow more haze variety, so more widely variety, more of an indica dominant fucking variety. I'm not used to the timing on it, so maybe I did fucking pull it a little late.
Right. So something that's already an indica leaning plant, and then if you bring it a little bit later than maybe you necessarily would typically want to, it's going to put you in the couch a little bit faster.
Well, and those CBGs and the CBNs and all those sorts of things become the really medicinal aspect of it too. And it's something that you've worked with for years and focused on quite a bit. I remember it with the Odinsons, as much as it was relaxing and calming during the day when I needed it to. It really ended up kind of being an end of the day, nighttime kind of thing, because I could sometimes barely finish a full stick of it. Because
I still can't.
It is just, and it's exactly what I needed at that time, and I still have some remaining of it. And it's kind of medicinally for that purpose. But I think, everything that I tend to see along the way with your work, it has that medicinal heaviness to it. And if it's going all that extra time and all those CBGs and CBNs are converting and all that sort of stuff, that makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah, totally.
Well,
You just
that's
had a
why
big-
with the previous drop that I did with all the Viking feast drop. So with the exception of the Odin's wedding and the White wedding, everything else really does lean more that sativa high. So again, I'd spoken to it before where not necessarily, they don't always look like a sativa.
Mm-hmm.
Rev and I are both experiencing that right now in growing out the most recent forgetful
Fucking
wedding that
bushes.
I'm doing. Yeah, they're bushes. But I mean,
Frog
mine,
bushes.
after I defoliated, the leaves are coming in thinner. I'll have to send a picture to you so you can see it. But yeah, it has more of a look of an indica, but the smoke is not indica. Like it's pretty crazy that can. I mean, it's a hybrid still. It's more indica, say sativa leaning, rather than most of the stuff that I do work on is more indica leaning, because that's what I like. I like smoking more of the indica than the sativa, but I do like having a sativa for that daytime activity. But it's also another reason why I try to breed things that you can smoke, like you were saying, Stoney. You can smoke something half a joint, and it'll give you that energy, but also relaxing you and giving you that chill high, so you can still get stuff done. But then if you smoke a little bit more of it, it's going to put you down.
Yeah.
So it can be used as a daytime, but it's also still that nighttime weed when you need it to. And I like that. It's almost, they, like you said, they give you what you need. And I've seen it in some of the newer plants and things that I've been working on as well. Yeah. So that's, I mean,
well, and I think it's a great point for we as, and now that I've gone, almost a couple years now into it, the amount of cycles and the amount of plants that we go through, you kind of get to the spot where you have a giant apothecary of nugs that you can lean on. And in a day, we're making salads in a day, 3, 4, 5 different cultivars. I think it's a great piece of advice to, find a time when you have a clear enough head to try each new one to find out really what that medicinal thing does for you.
Right.
And that can take some time. It may take, like a day of just focused on one cultivar to be like, okay, how is this making me feel? You might, kind of slow your morning down a little bit or your day down if you are on the indica leaning, or if you've had too much of it. There were times when just a small amount of odins during the day would really help to calm the anxiety, to relax, and get me to a spot where I was like, okay, I can think now, and I can really figure out what the next logical steps and plans would be, and not be so reactionary. I think sometimes in sativa, I know for me personally, I get reactionary. Like, I'm excited, I've got all these things, everything's fun and everything's crisp, and music sounds great, and I'm bebopping, I'm here and all over the place. It's not necessarily that it really amps me up. It's just that I become kind of hyper aware and everything is a lot more fun. Whereas I find indica helps that medicinal aspect relax and calm and center. It's a great thing to balance throughout the day to use multiples. But when you're first trying a strain, cultivar, you can really knock yourself out if you're not careful. So go a little bit at a time, a few hits, and just like give yourself 10, 15, 20 minutes and be like, all right, I can go for a little bit more now. Because I'm telling you, if you fire up a giant stick of Odinsons,
preaching moderation, Jesus.
Well, only until you know your dosage, and then
that's no way to go through life. Says the
can we imagine Howling smoking an entire joint at one time? Can anybody ever imagine that? I mean, come on.
No, but I also can't imagine being like lighting a joint and being like, okay, that's only a quarter. I'm gonna wait 20 minutes and see how I feel.
Well, that's why I smoke the small.
I'm like,
ones.
Oh, that's gone.
I had to do with this because I don't know what this is gonna do to me yet. So it's about time for me to take a little more, but yeah, it's good.
No, I wholeheartedly agree that is the sensible, logical approach to things.
Just not for you.
We're saying that I've never once in my life fucking done it.
Fuck around and find out.
There you go.
That's very true.
What's
so there's going to be.
Speaking of, I have a fresh joint of fucking sauce here. Why not, boys?
Let's
have some fucking fun.
I promise, Rev, my first full joint that I will smoke, or at least attempt to, we'll get a smoke sesh together, and we'll smoke Truck Stop.
There we go.
You get your way, because I mean, I'll smoke as much as I can. Maybe it'll be the whole thing or not. Well, I'll try, and you get to smoke some broadleaf.
You know what?
I will say, it's not fun when you just pass out in the chair and I'm sitting there going,
we're both going to pass out for different reasons.
Oh yeah. I will immediately fall asleep in the chair too. I have such a low tolerance to anything that makes me tired. Like if I eat a little bit too much, I'm like, well, I'm going to go nap for a while. So anything.
And this is the kind of thing we need recorded. You guys need to record yourselves doing this and then post it on Discord.
Only if we're nude. I mean, that's a different video. Anywho, YAGs OnlyFans coming soon, baby.
That was your furry convention. That was your furry convention videos. Yeah.
Hey, Howling showed me the audience of furries that he reaches, and let's just say the army is vast.
I
You
made
guys are
quite an
crazy.
impact.
So
It's
I
a
do actually have
Yep.
some other things that I'm going to be releasing on that day. So going through some of the seeds, I found 5 more packs of the white sauce. So those wasn't making a ton of them initially, and I wanted to keep more of them, but I found what I feel is my keeper mom for moving forward. So I'm willing to release some more of those, and those are photo femmes. Johnny just grew one of
Right on.
those out, I believe.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is I'm going to have 2 packs of the Super Sun God, which is going to be coming out probably February, March, and that is a photo reg. That is Super Sativa by Grow the Cure for Cancer, crossed with my Sun God. And Sun God is Slime God times a rise. It is definitely a sativa leaning plant. It runs on the low end 10 weeks, usually going at least 12. If you want to see pictures, I do have pictures of it up on my Discord.
Howling
Badger
just
was
rolled his eyes so hard. I think
the
they're stuck.
original person to yeah, I know, I'm sorry, Howling, but I gotta have a little bit. Everybody needs their own
Yeah,
thing.
I get it.
You're getting the big drop.
Yes.
You know, some other people need to have the little drops. So I'm only going to do 2 packs of those.
Now we're other people. Come on, man.
That's not
sorry.
racist, is
Sorry.
it? Is that
2
racist?
packs of
So there's only going to be 2 packs of the Super Sun God. I'm happy with where it is, but I need to make a lot more seeds before I officially release it. But it gives a couple more people the chance to grow some out and have fun with that. And then the last thing is I revisited my funeral desserts, which was my very first ever creation as a breeder. And that is Bobby's Widow. Yeah, I just lost my entire train of thought. This weed is kicking my ass. By Strawberry Cheesecake. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. And it's Strawberry Cheesecakes times Bobby Widow. Bobby Widow was the male. It was originally a reg. I did bring it forward and make it a femme, but I went back to the F2 version of it, which is where I was seeing a pink pheno. And I've been hunting that pink pheno, which at first was ridiculously rare to find. Maybe 1 in 100 females would show. I do have pictures of that particular, the pink pheno, that was showing up back then in the regs. But now I have one that it's called the Funeral Desserts, and I'm calling it the Pink Pheno. They're not all pink. It's maybe 10 to 15% of them show pink. But when they do, oh my goodness, it's beautiful. It doesn't really change anything as far as the smoke. It's the same. It's just I've seen some pink weed in the past in pictures, but I've never had any myself. So I'm like, you know what? I want to see if I can hone this in. So I'm going to continue to work this and be selective and hopefully bring that pink to a point where 50% or more of them are showing it. And I'm going to release 10 packs of those. And those are feminized autoflowers. They're also pretty fast. They're 65, 70 days from seed done.
Yeah, I'm going to need a pack of them.
Definitely more.
What was that,
cleaning.
Johnny?
Yep, gonna need a pack of them. Adding that to the list of shit I shouldn't buy, but will.
Shouldn't. You're gonna tell the dude who made him that you shouldn't buy him?
Yeah, you definitely should
dick.
not
No,
buy
I'm
them.
telling my wallet I shouldn't fucking buy them.
But again, there's only gonna be 10 packs of those. There's only gonna be 2 packs of the Super Sun God, and I have 5 more packs of the white sauce. The truck stop, I have about 50 packs that I can do, so it's gonna be fairly limited, the overall of everything. So yeah, that's where I'm at as far as the new stuff. I do have some other things that I'm working on for crosses coming out. If you guys want me to kind of
keep going.
tease some of that.
Yeah.
So first,
no, I want you to
people...
stop. No, keep going.
Okay, that's fine. I'll stop.
No, just kidding.
So the sauce auto has an update. I'm currently in F4 with that. It's taken me longer than I thought it would, just because I have to literally reverse a plant. These are not males and females, so they're all femmes. So in hunting it, I have to wait for them to show sex, as an auto to show sex, and then I have to pick a bunch of them that I really like, start to reverse them, and then eliminate the ones I don't like in the process, and hope that I catch another one that's similar enough that's also autoing in order to bring the auto trait forward. So it's usually by F4, you're showing almost 100% auto, if not 100% auto in a photo to autocross. These are showing about 80% right now. I'm not putting any of those out in the public. I'm not doing that whole. I mean, the ones that I released, about 1 in 100 or so autoed. And you know but so there's that aspect of it, and then also making sure that the medicinal part of it is still coming through in the offspring. So that means I literally have to take the offspring of, say, 6 different ones that I created, grow those out to fruition, and then sample them to make sure that any of them that are autoing that I want to bring forward again still have that headache fighting relief and the potency and the structure. So it's a lot more work than I initially thought it would be. But I think in the end it will be worth it as far as bringing it to that auto. And I am going to actually be going back crossing the original sauce, so the F1 of it, to the cherry pie, so I can make sure that any of them that I move forward with on the photo side are photo periods as well. So I want it, because I wanted to keep it both photo and auto. I wanted to have those lines be independent, but also the same. So anybody that's growing out there, if somebody wants to grow autos, they can grow it as an auto. If they want to grow it as a photo, they can grow it as a photo and get the same results.
That's a lot of work, dude.
It is a lot of work, but again, I think in the end, it's going to be worth it. So that's where I'm at with that. I'm thinking probably spring, March, April. I should have enough of them that I've tested myself. They'll be going out to the testers February-ish if everything goes out right. So they'll get a jump on those to make sure that they're all autoing. Because I'll know before I release them if they're all autos or whatever. I'll would have grown out enough and tested them myself in-house to feel comfortable getting to then giving them out to the testers so they can start growing them as well. Yeah, so I'm excited about that. The sauce is also, I just smoked some of it today. This right here is what I'm calling the Mac sauce. And that's actually a Mac 1 cut times a sauce. It's good. It's real good.
Tell me about the lineage of Mac, because I've heard that one around before. It's kind of one of those older names.
Miracle Alien Cookies is so it's a cookies cross. Is it? Let me look it up really quick, because.
Do you remember when it started to come on scene? I mean, it's one of those.
Gosh, Mac 1 has been around for. Shoot, I can't even tell you. Let's see. Trying to see if I can find where it is. Here we go. Info.
It's definitely one of those names that I've heard before.
So it's an indica dominant hybrid cross of Alien Cookies times Colombian times Starfighter. So there you go. Miracle Alien Cookies, in short. Mac it's short for that. And it's considered, well, now it says it on this other thing, it says it's considered a 50-50 hybrid. I found the one that I have, the cut of is definitely more indica leaning than, really? I wouldn't say it's a 50-50. Beautiful. It's the frostiest, like finished buds that I've ever seen.
Wow.
It's ridiculous. Like from the small sugar leaves all the way down the bigger fan leaves. And I'm growing out one right now I'm not breeding with it, so I can actually show people like, hey, this is what it looks like and all that. But it's good. I'm really digging the smoke from it. Very relaxing. My head was feeling a little foggy earlier, so it kind of cleared some of that up, even though I feel like maybe my memory isn't all that great from smoking a few, and I only smoke like maybe not even a quarter of it.
Yeah.
How fast did it over there?
What's that? What did you say, Stoney?
How fast did it did finish?
It's in that like 8-9 week. There's a few different phenos, but it's in that 8 to 9 week. Bringing it to 10 does bulk it up. I think enough to warrant that extra week. So
is it just stacked a little bit more of that frost right on the last?
You're good. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't really add a lot of frost to it, but the buds definitely swell a little bit more. And again, if it was insignificant, then I would say just take it at 9 weeks. But giving it that extra week, so one that maybe looks like it's finished at 8, bring it to 9. One that looks like it's finished at 9, bring it to 10. And it's worth it. That extra week definitely packs on more weight. Instead of, let's say, a 4-ounce plant, you're going to get a 5-ounce plant in that week. And that's significant enough to make it worth it. You gain 1/8 of an ounce, or, maybe it's not worth that extra week if you're trying to flip things, but an extra ounce, I think it's worth it.
Well, and a lot of people pull back of all of their nutrients in those last few weeks too. So I think there's still a lot to be said where the plant's gonna naturally pull back a lot of the growth hormones and a lot of the sugars and that sort of stuff into the stems.
And one thing I've actually been doing on any photo periods that I've grown out multiple times, so I know when they finish for me, I've actually in the last 10 days flipped the lights back to 18.6. And it's something I heard Rasta Jeff actually talk about how he does that with a lot of his cultivars. The last 10 days, 2 weeks or whatever, he'll flip them to 18.6. And they don't, if you go longer than that, you're going to actually see intersex traits because you're messing with the light cycle enough. But for that just 10 days, 7 to 10 day window, it packs on a huge amount more weight just doing that. And it's at that time also you're not feeding any nutrition anymore. So I've noticed a huge difference. It's worth doing if you time it right. If the cultivar. So if you have something and you've never grown it before, I don't recommend doing that. But if you've grown it at least once, twice, when it finishes for you, and you have a clone of the plant, you're good to go.
Yeah, and I've seen the trend of kind of switching of the lights midway and then starting to think about the trail, and it makes a lot of sense just from a seasonal perspective that these plants that are growing in a long period of time, they're going to start going through a seasonality where their light change at the end of it anyway. So it's almost even more of a signal to the plant. Right. And you're pulling back the nutrients, which is like, hey, it's not cycling anymore because it doesn't have the temperatures and that sort of thing. So it seems pretty natural. It seems like a logical way to go about it. But you mentioned if you start changing the lights too much, that's where you'll start seeing the intersex stuff happening.
You can, you could definitely. Yeah. And if you change it for too long, just think about like you have a plant that maybe is 5 weeks or 3 weeks into flower, and then all of a sudden there's a light leak that develops, or I forgot to open my tent, or I forgot to close my tent back up for a few days in a row or whatever. You're messing with it. Think about it for yourself. Okay, if you're in the middle of the night, you're sleeping, you're sound asleep, all of a sudden it's 3 a.m. You've been sleeping for 4 hours. Somebody comes in, turns the lights on in your room, starts talking to you, wakes your ass up. And then, it's only been 15 minutes. Then they leave and they shut the light off and they leave.
Yeah.
It's like, you're going to be pissed and you're going to have trouble falling asleep. Now, if somebody does that to you multiple, one time, okay, you fall back asleep. It doesn't really affect you all that much the next day. They do that 4 or 5 days in a row.
Yeah.
You're going to be grumpy. You're not going to be happy.
Yeah, like a general calamity that's going on.
And I don't know who's switching us all around, but you're messing with me hard right now.
Yeah, I thought it was just me too. I thought it was just my brain. Don't worry, man.
It must be Johnny. He's like dying over there.
It's Johnny and I.
Well, and
Johnny started moving. Okay, behind some baseball. We're all recording in this studio, and Johnny just discovered you could move everybody's picture and video around, and so we've been fucking messing with each other like that. That's the professional YAG style, baby. I was seeing who's gonna break first. At least we know G3 is the first to break.
Green guy, not G3.
Yeah.
Why did I say G3?
Because
Sorry.
there's so many fucking greens
BGG.
and gobbledies and gooks
Abbreviation.
and fucking.
BGG. So the next thing I'll talk about as far as something that I'm working on right now, Rev, you'll be excited about this, but the Frogception is moving forward.
Yeah, baby.
I got the
You hear that,
females I
Howling?
want to reverse that are being reversed at the moment, and I have the other females also in the growing out and liking what I'm seeing so far from most of them. So the ones I don't like, I'll grow them out, but they won't be part of the breeding. And yeah, so that's moving forward. I figured you'd be happy to hear that.
I'm very happy. I
and
told
that
you have to keep an earth box busy, dude.
Well, I have enough things, I think, even now that I could do that for you, Rev.
That's
So
true.
then the Super Sun God, as well as it's going to be released, like I said, 2 packs this drop, but I am making more seeds. Some of those are actually in the hands of testers now. And I have a few crosses that I'm making with it as well that I'll be testing those things out and seeing. So those will be coming probably like somewhere towards the summer. Then I have I actually have a really nice mom of Cobra milk, which is cereal milk times jealousy. It's an older cross. I want to say it was made 3-4 years ago or so. And I can't think of the breeder's name right now. My brain is like completely shutting down, but that mom has proven out to me on multiple occasions when I've grown it out, and I'm actually in the process of reversing that so I can try to cross her out to a few different things. She's sexy. She's definitely sexy. And then I'm moving forward with something that I think I teased a couple shows ago when I was on with you guys with the Odin Sons times Zamaldelica Express.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remembered that one. Remember you talking about that one?
So that will be Odin's Express when that is finally, when I'm happy and
Awesome.
I
with
love that
one.
name.
That is a good name.
So that's going to be probably in that April, maybe even May when that one will be ready to go. So a lot of these things may be ready earlier or later. I'll end up having them all kind of in one drop around that time whenever I feel like the majority of them are ready. I don't want to do like one thing a month. I'd rather do something where I have a drop and then there's time in between for me to kind of hone on different things or make sure I have all my ducks in a row, get other things tested. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I like doing it. I've said it before where anyone that's breeding is a pollen chucker until they've tested those genetics. People that just throw 2 things together and then release them and they're not tested, never grown out, they're not breeders.
It's a hobby it's a hobby fun thing.
They're not. You need to put in the work. Again, Johnny, you had said, if you put fire and fire together, why don't you always get fire? And it doesn't work that way. I mean, some things it does, sure. But you might have 2 things that just, they're so fire, they don't play nice together because they're so good on their own. And you may combine them, and the product that comes out of them may be worse than either of the parents.
I'm fucking realizing, man, it's a hunt. You can trust what the breeder says only to such an extent. The plant you get might fucking throw you a loop and you have no idea. Like,
yeah, it could be it could be
luck
what
of
they
the
call
draw.
a unicorn too, which means
exactly.
it's better than anything the breeder has seen themselves.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like, it's just it's fucking fun, man. And there is definitely, you see it when you're growing something, a breeder, and especially like in the community, when you see a breeder's choice and a seed they've sent out as actual work, a seed you fucking paid for specifically, you can see that 100%. Like, but it also doesn't have to be that way. You can get random fucking seeds and grow it and just get happy fucking weed and it's all okay. It's fucking
right. But at the same time, you could get some untested stuff that, is more male than female.
It happens. So what? Pay attention. If it was free, fucking grow
Well,
it.
free's completely different. I'm talking about something you paid for.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
Something
yeah.
you paid for is something that was bred. Pollen chucking is one thing, but it's all okay. I mean, there's gems and everything, but when when you've got something that somebody's bred, it's most likely gonna be that.
Right.
You're gonna see
The whole
that, and you
point,
see it throughout the
I
community when somebody's growing something.
oh, yeah.
It's obvious that it's that genetic. You know what I
Right.
mean? When it's bred from a quality fucking breeder who's done his work and he's obviously done his testing.
Mhm.
You see that the plants are fucking similar. Everything's growing the same. Most people are describing terpenes and effects exactly the same. You're not seeing that if you just have pollen chucking. It's like you go and get fucking new kids or fucking 1-800-genetics, fucking I love marijuana.com. That type of shit you see, it's just like, okay, that was seeds put in a fucking bag. Somebody got some feminized something or other and threw it at the wall, because I've grown 3 fucking seeds right next to each other and all of them are different looking, have growing different and have different, but they're all fun. But it's not
I mean,
what you
it
fucking
is.
paid for when
Yeah,
you get
it's
quality bred shit.
well. I think when you buy, the mindset you have when you buy from breeders and stuff shouldn't be, I'm paying this dude because he took 2 great things and crossed them. Because a lot of people can do that. What you're paying for is the fucking expertise, the testing, the understanding, like what BGG does. You give BGG money because you're like, I know that he's put his name and his fucking reputation for this seed. Other people that just cross shit that doesn't matter, what do they give a fuck? They're just in it for a quick buck, right?
Yep.
Like you said, you can cross fire and just hope, but when you actually breed and you get somebody you can trust, that's why you pay the money, right? That's why
Well,
Daz
that and
gets
a
the
lot of the
following.
times the ones that do just the pollen chucking, the true pollen chucking, and they're out there selling stuff, they may have, caught fire in a bottle with their first cross. They release that, everybody loves it, everybody's having those positive results and everything. They get a little greedy. They see, oh, I can do this, well, I need to do the next thing. So then they take that genetic, the fire that they created, and they cross it to everything, and then they just throw it out there without it ever being tested, without it ever being worked, about anything. And now those people are no longer here because they stopped doing the work.
Yep.
Yeah,
and if I'm not going to do the work, then I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not, if I'm not putting that effort in. I always say I want a brand new grower to have something of mine that they can grow and have success with. Because if they do, then, I mean, not only will they come back and want to try something else from me, but it gives them that confidence to continue growing, whether it's anything of mine or somebody else's, and but if they have something, if they go through the I love growing marijuana type places or whatever, and they have this little runty plant, now they paid hundreds of dollars for their setup. They bought all these nutrients. They did everything they were supposed to do, but they bought crap genetics and still paid a lot of money for those, for what they got. They paid a lot of money. They don't have that success. Now they're like, oh, I can't do this. And then they're done. And it might have had nothing to do with them.
Well, and
that's why genetics is probably the number one thing when you're first starting growing to not cheap out on. And I've heard people say, oh, well, I'm going to buy just cheap stuff to practice on. Well, no, you want that success right away. You don't have to go and spend $500 on a pack of seeds, but get yourself something from someone that has a reputation. Go to Daz, go to Alabrije. I would hope that you would come to me. There's breeders out there that put the work in, and you see it time after time with the people in the community that are growing them.
Yeah, I had a great conversation just about a week ago, and I with someone else, and we were talking about the whole aspect of craftsman to artisan, and I've talked about it here on the show before, and I think there's that difference where there's a lot of breeders out there, there's a lot of pollen chuckers, there's companies now that are able to mass produce seeds on a high volume and get them out there, but they are untested. They don't really know where they're coming from, and they aren't stable. They haven't done the work, and they're happening, and that happens in almost any sort of business and any sort of product that starts to get developed and gets out there. people are going to start making smaller versions of it. There's always going to be people that are trying to make bigger versions of it. But I think that there comes this point where there's certain producers, there's certain breeders that go, okay, I'm just going to start doing my own thing and do it my own way. And they really cross over into that artisan phase, right? They're able to just like not do it for the purpose of, hey, I just want to get a bigger name. I want to make a bigger risk. I've got this sort of, I've made this one, as the analogy you said, I make one fire out of it, and then they start crossing. Well, that's just risky. They're just saying, hey, I have this one thing that I'm counting on. They're trying to stick with one craftsman tool that they've been using over and over and over. But it's when that point when you cross over and you look at all the tools that are laid out in front of you, and you say, hey, I'm going to pick this one and that one and this one, and it's going to be my tool, and I'm going to make it my own way. That's what separates the breeders, I think, is where I was going with this one, from those pollen chuckers. And to your point, Johnny, there's nothing wrong at all. And I think it's a wonderful thing for people to start the process and do it in a little tent or do it in their backyard and have fun pollen chucking, because you can do it. And I don't think there's a breeder that I've talked to yet that doesn't say, yeah, that's awesome, go for it. But to your point, that's a time and a place for that.
Right.
If you're investing in your genetics and you are investing in the soil and the time and the resources that it's going to take to have your own grow, it's really, you want to find a reputable breeder. And then the other thing I always try to talk to people about is that, think about the price of that seed, and you can't really equate it with the physical value of what you get. Because if you look at this small little pouch or whatever you get, and you look at it, and it's it's literally only a few grams, and you're looking at it going, wow. Sometimes people will pay on average $50 to $70, depending on where you go for it, for a pack of, say, 3 to 5 that you hope you're going to get in there. And you look at them and you're like, man, it's a lot of money for these. But no one quite takes into the account the amount of soil that it takes for the testing. I mean, you were just talking 10, 15 minutes ago about, I think it was the pink one, and 1 in 100, and you've had to do this 2-3 times. Total up that amount of soil, total up that amount of resources, light, water, energy, time of yours to do it, thoughtfulness of planting, taking records, all those sorts of things. That's just to produce the seed, the hand sifting of things, the artisan aspect of separating things, hand packing those small amounts. You're not at the stage yet, and a lot of our breeders aren't at that stage yet, where they're buying a $55,000, $75,000 seed packing machine. That takes time to get to. It takes time to get to. Until that time, it's you sitting there packing these things, hand addressing them. So I think I always just remind people to take stock in what really goes into putting those seeds into that pouch before you think about the cost of it.
And to segue on that, we have to trust somebody's word about a fucking breeder too. We can't just listen to people who got high in their basement again and just start fucking advertising bullshit and fucking recommending shit that's just garbage out there to people. We have to be able to trust somebody's fucking word, man. So
that's why we
do some research before you just start dropping seeds in the ground. Make sure it's actually quality genetics.
And if you have questions, we have a YAG Discord group area that has our trusted pollen chuckers, as Johnny likes to call them. But I wanted to circle back. It's very important, and I do it every time I partake anything BGG made or I'm about to plant any of his seeds. I just remember his hands, his sexy, sexy hands when he packaged them. He's good with them hands.
Oh, that's so nice.
No, but it is hard work.
I touch every seed with my hands, every seed. And all of yours, Rev, I always put in my mouth for a little bit before I package.
That explains why Frog Gitfel's so goddamn weird. Speaking, she's growing vertically now. Like, if in a perfect world, I would have taken that other 2x4 out and just let her rock that whole thing to itself, but I didn't. So we'll see what we get. But
sorry, she's hanging half in the tent, half out the tent.
It's pretty bad. Every time I open the fucking tent door, I'm like, how is there more out now? And I've defaulted heavily 3 times and it doesn't stop it. It's just
Now, I showed you the picture of the defoliation I did the other day
Yeah.
on mine, and you couldn't even tell today. And that was like 3 days ago.
yeah,
It's crazy.
It is absolutely phenomenal. And I mean, you see Stoney's, and then I think Green Velvet Farms too is rocking a tangy wedding. They're
Mhm.
just
Yeah.
beast, man.
Yeah.
They're definitely going in one of my earth boxes next. I definitely am excited for that.
Stacking bud sites on that thing. It's
Oh yeah, and
incredible.
they're gonna wait. You wait
Yeah.
when that thing gets close to finishing. Those buds are like
Oh,
insanely
dude, there's
dense.
bud sites everywhere. Like
Yeah.
they double overnight. It's frustrating because I'm just like, okay, like my other earth box is almost completely covered as these new seedlings are taking life, and I'm just like, man, new bud sites every day. I can't complain. Like, damn you, prosperous plant, you stupid. But it is absolutely an honor to always have you on, and I'm very excited to have your new drop coming up. And I did want to ask that when you with that ZAM project, the one that is the most important. Look at Howling
I
shaking
thought
his
the
head.
frogception was the most important.
That one is too,
Okay.
but that was already a given. They're both
Oh, okay.
both
Okay.
exciting,
Well, you
But
knew
the
about
ZAM,
it, but
I
not
had a
many other
specific
people did.
question. That's exactly right. What were you looking for ZAM to add? Was it just the effects, or was there something that you like about the plan
As
itself?
far as why I went, so I had just done a little project for myself with the Odin Sons, and so Zamaldelica is one of my favorite smokes. It's
Yeah.
as far as Daz is, anything that Daz has put out, it's my favorite from him. Every time he drops it, I pick some up just because I want to always have some of those things. And I've gone and I've made a bunch more for myself, a bunch more seeds. Like, I don't know, I probably have 10,000 of them that I've made. Because I'm still hunting through them too to see if I can find something else unique and I can take and hit it with some pollen that I have. But I wanted to up the bud density and the size of the plants because I really hadn't been able to grow a very big Zamaldelica Express, Zamalama Ding Dong Express. I haven't really been able to grow like a really big one. They average 1-2 ounces per plant. Where Odin Sons, when I'm growing them in say a 3-gallon cocoa, I'm getting 8 to 12 ounces per plant. So I wanted to try to find something in the middle. If I could double it, then that's really what I wanted to do. But I wanted to do it and get more density from the Odin Sons without taking away from what I was getting out of the Zamaldelica. So that's what I've been kind of working towards.
Hell yeah.
And they're not. It's not 100%, and I don't think I could ever get it to 100%. Because both genetics, the Odin Sons and the Zamaldelica, are very strong in their own right. So they both want to add their genetics to the mix, which is fine because the high on both is fantastic. So if you can, you grow 3 of them out. If you get one that leans one way, one that leans the other, and one that's in the middle, you literally have 3 different now types of plants to smoke, and that's kind of cool too because you can get that knockout of the Odin Sons or get that more clear-headed, racy, creative kind of thing from the Zamaldelica side, and then you can get something in the middle if you get the one that's kind of like both of them. So, but I am trying to make it more that sativa leaning more than the knockdown kind of a thing. I like daytime weed too.
That is exactly what I wanted to hear. I'm almost as excited as Howling was, but I didn't want to get too excited. Did you hear that, Howling? 2 strains.
I'm counting.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Well, that'll just make them kind of, I guess, well, no, because there's only one frog strain right now, so this is going to be the second one. There's already 2 wolf ones, and now he's basically in the truck stop.
He's always in the truck stop. You can always catch him Friday night.
It's half price Fridays.
Oh, and the other thing that I actually didn't write down, but it just came to me, I am continuing the 1-to-1 as well that I released. Howling was one of the few people that was able to get one of those packs when I released those. So that project is moving forward as well. So I'm happy about that. And yeah, we'll see where that ends up going. And hopefully they continue to be the way that they have been so far in testing. And so that's pretty cool.
Now, are you crossing that
grown
with
that yet,
another
Howell?
medicinal one?
What's that?
Are you
Howard?
crossing the 1-to-1 with another medicinal strain? Or?
No, I'm just bringing it forward,
Oh, okay.
trying to really hone in the phenotypes that I've liked a little bit more than some of the other ones, to kind of bring that forward a little bit more.
Well, I'm totally
and
excited.
also feminize it.
Oh, cool.
Have
Well,
you grown that 1-to-1 yet?
I
Colin?
haven't. No, they're going to get wet. You know, before the end of the year, I'm starting up all my photos to start vegging, and yeah, it's going to get started up.
Right on.
He's got 12 more weeks on his blueberry sauces, and then he'll be able to.
Oh, jeez. What a plant! Those two plants were so fun to train. They were like just made for me. I love training those blueberry sauces. It's just
pretty much all the sauces. Yeah, all the sauces really like the scrog, like without a doubt. They scrog out so nice, and I think it's because they really keep the flexibility in the branches without being like super snappy potential. You know, like you can bend them pretty good, and then once they get through that stretch, they solidify nice. So, you know, it allows you to have that extra time, I think, compared to some of the other stuff that I've grown, where I try to train something and it just snaps in half. You know, it's like
that's Odin's Sons. I remember trying to train Odin's Sons, and it just like gave me the finger and said "fuck off," and just would not bend for nothing. Even one of the main stem, I finally got it to bend, and came back a few days later, and it snapped itself. Like, what the hell are you doing? You're like just to spite me. You're trying to kill yourself off here because I tried to train you. So I was a little scared trying to train another one of your plants, but no, those were beautiful.
Well, that's one of the things I mean, I have my staples now that I'm continuing to work with and try to outcross a little bit more. Like I had just done with the Asgardian wedding. So I'm doing a similar thing with my Asgardian funeral. And, you know, Odin's Sons, I've already done it with. That's where and Fenrir are the same thing. So I'm trying to now look for that next generation of things to bring my genetics to that next step, the next level of potency and you know, frost coverage and medicinal effects, and really trying to expand on that even more than what I already have, without making, you know, I do make a lot of crosses, but most of those crosses don't see the light of day. You know, they'll either fail in testing, or I don't like the smoke from the offspring, or you know, they just don't have what I feel like it takes to move forward in the process. That's why the ones that I picked for the Viking feast, there were 30 something crosses that I made. Those were the ones I liked. You know, every single one of those passed all my tests that I wanted, as far as the end result, as far as stability, as far as adding something to either or of the genetics. So all the rest of them, they're pretty much done. You know, there's a couple from that I might try to play with in the future a little bit more, but it's almost like it's so many other projects that I'm really excited about still that I don't need to go back to those yet. You know,
like, are you at the point now that you spend so much time on these crosses and breeding that it's like well beyond a full-time job at this point for a single person? Because that just sounds like a lot of time.
It can be at certain points, for sure. You know, certain points in the growth cycle of the plants, you know, I may have to take, you know, most of a day to go through selections when they get to different ages. You know, it's harder in the very beginning when I'm trying to narrow down those plants as quickly as I can. And then with photo periods, if I'm growing a bunch of them out, I need to take clones of every one of those. And to basically guarantee that I'm going to get a clone, I usually take 3 clones. So right there, if I'm growing 10 plants, now I have 30 clones I just took. I have to make sure they're all labeled and, you know, where they need to be and that kind of stuff,
man.
But
Just trying to
that's
keep
what
a mom,
that
it's the same. It's like I couldn't fucking imagine what you're going through. Just trying to do a photo run and go, man, maybe there's a keeper mom in this fucking batch I want to have around for a little bit.
well,
It's
yeah,
a fucking
that's
pain in the ass, and I'm just a fucking dude doing it in my garage for fuck's sake.
yeah.
I mean,
But
even
I mean,
even the
I look at
selection
it's
process itself must be overwhelming. Like if you were, I mean, I'm sitting here imagining looking at an array of 100 plants and trying to pick out and try and narrow down. Like in my mind, I can't see myself doing anything different than physically moving these small pots and like, okay, I'm gonna start this pile here because this looks like my favorite. You know what I mean? Like when you say an entire
you'd be
data
surprised.
so
Right. I mean, that's with multiple crosses that I'm making and things like that. But you'd be surprised, like if you grow at 100 plants, within 10 days of them coming up above the soil,
you are already making you're already making
you're gonna
some
out of those
observation.
100 seeds, you might have, say 4 of them don't even pop. So now you're down a little bit, and then you start watching them, and over the first 10 days. You may or may not see 30 to 40 that you're just like, nope, that one's muty. That one's not coming up that fast. It's not, all that. So you can eliminate those. You may have other ones where, again, they're like a mutant kind of a leaf or whatever. Those get tossed. And now you start to get them a little bit bigger. So over the next 20 days. So now they're going from 10 days to 30 days. In an autoflower, which one's showing sex first? When's the averages of those kind of things? Are you seeing anything additionally that's weird? Sometimes you'll get that top where you're getting a bunch of leaves coming off the top, but then that next node down, there's nothing there. You see like just a couple of things. Well, that's not maybe something you want to work with. So you're able to eliminate a few more like that. If you're doing a feminized product or project, once they show sex, you need to start. You have to be quick in picking what you want to use to move forward with. And of course, if you can select multiple things to reverse and then find similar ones that you then can hit them to, now you can grow out those offspring and see which one of those you liked best. With a photo period, it's a little different because you have to flip them the flower, then you have to grow the flower out, try it. And that's where, like Johnny was saying, hunting for a mom comes in. And you can hunt for a mom really easily. If you have 20 seeds of the same plant, grow 3 at a time. Keep your favorite of the 3, grow 3 more. Keep your favorite of those 4 now, grow 3 more. And so on and so forth until you find that one that you like the best, or find the 3 you like the best. Then grow those out again, and then pick your favorite. And now that's your keeper mom, without having to grow all 20 of them at one time and then try to worry about keeping clones and doing that's way more work than the average person can do. But anybody that is growing can grow a couple plants, and then they keep their favorite, if they're able to keep clones or whatever. So yeah, it's a process. It is a lot of work. I wouldn't say it's quite at a full-time job, no, but it does feel like that sometimes. Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think at that stage, I started thinking back to one of the instructors that I worked with in a bake shop, and I've seen this in chefs all the time. We would be making little profiteroles or little pot de choux, little creme puffs, right? And the idea was to make them absolutely exact and the same, and that was kind of what we would judge the students on and base the students on. And they would sometimes have to do 100 of these things on 2 or 3 sheet pans worth, and guaranteed these chefs and this one that jumped in mind, but I've seen it with you'd walk up and that they would automatically notice the one that was slightly imperfect out of hundreds and hundreds that are laid out on the table. I sometimes would have these students set up 3 or 4 students have all of their puffs out, and the chef would walk in and take a look at it, and looking at all these would just walk right up and grab the ones that were off centered, a little bit too brown or whatever, and it would absolutely amaze me at times. But I think that just comes with that sort of
repetition,
but I believe there's an artistic eye. I think there's a creative eye that sees those sorts of things that you can't, that's not something that you can teach.
Intangible things,
right?
Yeah.
It's easy for you to, you make it look easy, you make it seem easy, because it's a natural instinct to you. Probably much like I can pick a profiterole out of 1,000 of them and go, you messed up on that one, and everyone else is gonna go all across all of them and go, that's absolutely amazing. It's something that I think it is innate, and I think there are certain traits within human beings that take that creative aspect and can see things and see how they are going to grow. And that's just, again, that's a test to the amount of effort and time that it takes that you put into these, and why this next drop that's coming up, if anyone hasn't been able to get in on it, is so important. Now's the time. If you haven't had a chance to, and with all these sales and stuff that you've got going on, and all this resources basically to get beans in the hands of people, it's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. So don't sell short.
Let me just bear my testimony. Nah, that's in joke. No, I mean, having grown Frogiffa Wedding, and I grew an Odinson in that nut container that would have killed pretty much any other fucking plant, and it pulled through, and I got not much, but I was able to smoke on it for a bit. And this Frogiffa is something out of this world. I cannot tell you enough. Plant a fucking BGG seed, because everybody who does is like, holy shit, check out this plant. Holy shit. Like it is phenomenal. There's a very good reason why, other than a few occasions, BGG's got an earth box now. It's just something phenomenal about his genetics. It's probably that he takes the fucking time, like Alabrije, Alabrije got a whole tent. I'm not rich enough for fucking BGG's dropping it now. But yeah, it is my full recommendation that find something of his that you want to try and give it a fucking shot.
I almost wore my Alabrije shirt today, but I didn't change, or I didn't get a chance to change before I got on.
Jesus Christ, this episode is brought to you by Alabrije.
If only we fucking tried too. I mean, like, if we actually got something out of it, it'd be awesome.
Oh, is his friendship not good enough for you, Stoney?
No, it's absolutely amazing for it. I think that's the best part about it.
Sorry, I just love to go to the lowest. Just insult. Now, before we get going, we have fairly new circle tradition where I ask every one of you great friends of mine a question. So this one, I'm not going, what's your favorite meat, like I did last time with BGG, practically. So this one is it's going to be Christmas related, but
vegetarian friendly.
Yeah, it's going to be more open-ended. I know Johnny's super excited, so I'll start with him. Johnny, what is your favorite Christmas treat around this time? What makes you think it doesn't even have to be
already
Christmas?
know. And by the way, G3, I'm still fucking waiting on my fucking toffee.
Tis the season, man. Tis the season for it.
Damn.
Maybe if
Don't
you
you remember last year
coffee?
when he would throw a fit if he doesn't get his toffee?
And he never did. Also, he practically, it was impossible to make, I believe, was what at one point one of his things.
You need like tools. Grandma always did it. Called it
candy,
special Christmas candy.
That's right. Howling, you enjoy treats. As a normal person, you're not a vegetarian and you don't hate Christmas. So please help me. What is it?
The thing I look for, it's just something I do with the kids. It's advent calendars and those little pieces, those little terrible, those not so great tasting chocolate things, but there's just something to it. It's just every day, like, just go grab another one. The kids just love it. And
yeah, those are cool. You like beer. Do you ever get down with one of the beer advent calendars?
I did it 2 years ago, and it was more of a disappointment than anything. And as much as I like daily drinking, it got old after a few days.
30 is there, 25 is a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I always thought it was funny that they sold those with like mini shooters in them. I was like, the people buying mini shooter advent calendars are not waiting 25 fucking days to take those shots, dude. Like, oh, cool, I drank it all in one day. Where's the next one? Stoney, I'm making you go last. So BGG, what is your favorite Christmas treat or holiday treat?
Christmas or holiday treat. So I would say from growing up, my father's mother, so my grandmother, she used to make baklava,
Oh.
and it was amazing. It was absolutely my favorite thing ever. And I have only found one time my younger sister, she was working with a lady that made a batch of the baklava for me. And
That's a vicious cat, dude. It just
It's-
hissed at you.
it like is trying to beat me up. So she had worked with a lady, and she had asked the lady to make me some baklava because my grandmother had passed, and I would swear that my grandmother came back to life and made this batch of baklava, and it's the only one that I've had that reminded me of my grandmother's, and I haven't found any since. So it would be baklava, without a doubt, or baklava.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah. Have you ever seen the
wonderful.
dough made for it, the process made?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've tried to make it myself, and it's a very time-consuming process.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's all about the sugar, that sugary mixture that they go into different layers. That's where the key is as far as getting that flavor like my grandmother used to.
Yeah,
I just haven't been able to mimic it. I don't have a recipe.
Most people will buy it's very rare that you could buy the actual sheets of true phyllo dough. True phyllo dough, it's an incredible dough that's made, and it's actually stretched over the size of a table. So it's it's like a ball of dough that's about the size of a softball, and it usually takes two people working in tandem, and you kind of pull and stretch and pull and stretch, and it's just like a constant, very slow until it's literally paper thin. And then it kind of dries out in the process of doing it. You do it on a certain kind of a canvas material, and it literally absorbs the water out of it. And then they cut sheets and stack it. So if anyone ever has a chance to see, or just like if you want to go down a rabbit hole on the YouTubes about watching phyllo dough made, it's pretty fucking fascinating to watch.
This is fun. No, this is really fun. Just so everybody knows, I also get the munchies from the sauce. So now this is fun.
And I guess, Rev, Stoney answered the question. He likes baklava as well.
Yeah,
I was going to say phyllo dough. Phyllo dough was his answer. No, it's really going to make my answer of like what Johnny said, or those little chocolate oranges, sound like I'm a fucking toddler. So thank you, phyllo dough boy. No, Stoney, what is your like holiday Christmas treat that gets you into the mood of Christmas, not in the other way?
I would definitely say, it's something that kiddos and everyone seems to always love, and that's hot chocolate, right? Hot chocolate is one of those that I think
that's a great answer too.
Yeah, because it can be done in a certain way. I mean, there's the way of just making like hot cocoa, which is something that's very different than making hot chocolate. There's even Mexican drinking chocolate now, and adding discs of Ibarra into it. That's absolutely delicious for quick ones, but the kind that I love to make is really the over the top indulgent. It's usually about 20-30% cream with milk, whole milk specifically.
6 pounds of butter.
Yeah, lots of sugar in there, lots of good cane.
I was just gonna
sugar
say, you know what you're doing now? Your DM's gonna be filled with, yo, Stoney, let me get
can you send me some hot chocolate? And it's really super
Give
simple.
Give the recipe.
Yeah, and sometimes I'll actually put a little bit of vanilla into it. I'm not a big fan of honey, but sometimes people put honey in. But I'm pretty much just like straight cane sugar, a little bit of vanilla into it, the cream and the milk, and it's like 20% cream, 80% whole milk, which is really the key. If you're around the Central Coast, I'm a huge fan of the Oberweis. That's kind of my go-to up here in the Chicagoland area.
Goddamn Central Coast nonsense on this goddamn podcast.
But then
by very definition.
Wait a minute, Mississippi isn't an ocean?
No, I guess not. Lake Erie, famous.
It was at one point. So yeah, then
Utah was underwater. Sorry.
Into the pot with all of that cream and a bunch of sugar too, as much sugar as you like into it. And then chocolate. Chocolate is the key, and it has to be a good melting chocolate. Don't go buy the Hershey's. Don't go buy the stuff that's got wax in it. Don't buy chocolate chips because it's got a small amount of candle wax in it. The paraffin wax, the same stuff they put in candles, that helps it keeps its shape in your chocolate chip cookies.
What?
Oh yeah. You didn't know there was paraffin wax in it? Yeah, look at the back of that. Look at the back of the packages. There's wax in it. And that's why they hold that shape, but also why they won't melt down. So you have to get good melting chocolate. You
Did
have
you
to
ever try
invest
that
into it.
the Mexican chocolate Taza, Taza?
Yes, yeah,
That's
yeah.
actually made in, I believe, Somerville, Massachusetts. Is that you can
Really?
actually tour the factory.
Really?
But that's
When I
really good.
think of Mexican
I've been
chocolate,
eating that
I
kind of
think
chocolate for
Massachusetts.
15 plus years.
Yeah,
When it's
I don't
of
want to
course
get
it was around
started.
here first
Yeah.
in some of the smaller stores. It's good stuff,
Yeah.
and that's great for making hot chocolate.
yeah. If you can get the little discs, the little cayettes is the best way to get it done in like little coins. That's what we'll use in the professional kitchens so that we can scale them out in bags. I do tend to do more like a milkier style of chocolate. I don't like a really dark chocolate. It's kind of a waste to put like a real milky chocolate in because you're putting milk into it anyways. So it just depends. But I don't like the sharpness of really dark chocolate going into it. And then one of the things that I love to do is I'll take that mixture. And then I have one of those, it's like a canister that you use for like a whipped cream charge. And you pour it in hot and you load a charge into it. And then you do this like foamed out hot chocolate mousse that is,
Of course you do.
it's fucking incredible. But it's really easy to do because you just pour it in this can, you just do the twist and you crack it into it. And then you dispense it into it. And then a fat glob of real whipped cream into it.
So how many days are you cooking this mix that you're making?
Honestly, it's like we can probably whip. This is one of the few things that I can say we could whip together in like 15, 20 minutes with ingredients.
Can I ask a question about, do you think it is more likely that the people who listen to this show
They're going to the
have-
fucking counter and getting
No, listen.
ripping
No.
the package
No, I've got
open.
time out. I have an even better question. The likelihood of the people that listen to that show that have that canister, do you think they have it for whipped cream, or do you think they're taking fucking hits
Whippets.
off of it?
They're taking whippets. Yeah.
I
Fucking
think
A,
you
you're
should
right.
say to
You're
our
fucking A,
audience,
right.
go to your whippet station
Go to
and
your
use
whippet
it for its
station.
intended fucking
Yes.
It makes a fucking whipped cream.
So the next time that you buy it, and you can look them in the eye and go, "No, this really is for hot chocolate."
I'm saving those brain cells tonight. I want hot chocolate.
You're still
Don't
gonna
do
get the look
whippets.
like sure,
Yeah.
right? Sure, Williams and Sonoma, but yeah, no, but so to the key and to the essence of it, it's all about kind of the foaminess of it. So even if you don't have the canister, which most people don't, and I totally get that, there's nothing better than when your hot chocolate is just at the finish stage right before to just take a whisk, and even if you just kind of put it in your hand and spin it, like a kind of like a top wood or something along those lines. And then you'll just kind of whisk it and froth it, or if you have like a coffee frother or something like that. It's really about getting as much air in there because that's where all the flavors and flavonoids and all of the esters and all of the aromas and everything start to come out. So it will make it actually taste that much better. In fact, the hot chocolate itself goes all the way back to central Mexico and goes back to a hot drinking chocolate that was only sweetened with honey for kind of the royalty. But the key was that they would pour it from pitchers from very high, sometimes 2-3 stories, to try and create the froth. And to this day, you get these little handmade tools, and it's a wooden, it's one piece of wood that's got a few rings that as you kind of carve it and whittle it down, it pops apart, and it basically creates a whisk. And you drop it down into this Mexican hot drinking chocolate, and you roll it back and forth, and it froths it. So it's really about the froth. So whether you do it with a whisk, you don't even need a fancy can. I mean, you can take this all the way back to the Aztecs and Incans. We're using this sort of process to it, but it is about frothing it. It is about it. And that, my friend, is the best fucking hot chocolate of Christmas, Rev.
In all seriousness, yeah,
That's my
I
fucking
like
treat.
Marshmallows do not belong in hot chocolate. Let's all agree on that one.
I'm okay with that. Yeah.
All right.
I can agree with that, especially not the little marmots that you get.
Chocolate?
If
Can
you're-
we? No, can
If
we?
you're adding
Chocolate does
marshmallows
not
to your hot
belong in
chocolate,
milk.
the hot chocolate's not that good.
No, chocolate
Yeah.
does not belong in milk. Can we all?
If your
agree on that?
marshmallows are doubled out for Lucky
Wait.
Charms,
chocolate milk
That's not
for
a
kids was
marshmallow.
like
No.
the fucking best part about being a kid at lunch sometimes. Don't you shit
well,
talk
I'd have to
chocolate
go
milk?
there.
I don't like chocolate milk,
Anywho,
and it
time
shouldn't
out.
even warm. No.
Stony, real talk. I'm gonna need that recipe in a way that I can remember, because that sounds phenomenal.
Hit rewind.
I am going to now throw it to you, lovely people, for something to plug. It is that time of show always. I will start with literally one of my best friends in the entire world, Johnny Apple.
I ain't got shit.
That is my
Oh
favorite.
no, I
Howling.
thought Rev was plugging you.
Oh, I ain't
That's
got
later.
anything today.
Howling's got nothing. Stoney, one of my favorites as well.
Yeah, you know what? I'll plug some folks from the local community around here. I had the fortune last week to get to go to a Dabs Giving hosted by a friend of ours in the community, and a bunch of folks that were around, a bunch of different vendors. So I got to meet a bunch of new people, and get out and see the world and see what it's like to consume out in the real world. It was actually kind of interesting to go into a place where there's a bunch of vendors and there was consumption going on. It was fantastic. It was fantastic to see. So
How wonderful.
Yeah.
Were
So
you ever concerned that they would actually listen to the podcast you're on and go, fuck that guy?
Yeah, we don't. No, it was totally cool. I was able to keep that nice and quiet.
There,
It's like,
what I
oh,
do.
that's the hot chocolate guy.
Yeah.
Now, my other good friend, the big green guy, who is a personal friend and a great asset literally a pillar in this community who does not get enough credit. Do you have anything else to plug, you monster?
No, I think I actually plugged everything. December 14th is a new drop, and until then, you can go to my website, and it's on my Discord. Just go to greenguy_genetics, and you can click on the link to my website there. Until December 13th, there's 30% off on the website. Use code BGG30.
And that sale was ending the 13th because your birthday is the 13th?
Yeah, that's kind of why I did it. It's my birthday gift to you.
There you go. A man so important, he gives his time for everyone else on his birthday.
What a yag off.
What a yag off. Seriously, thank you all for joining me. And since none of you asked,
today?
I do have. Yeah, no, we fucking didn't plan that ahead. Shit.
Oh. Has Big Jer been a shit lister yet?
No, there we go. Big Jer was on the list, actually. There was a couple. But yes, Big Jer, wonderful dude. Now you're on the shit list because BGG dropped it on us.
That's
live.
a pretty honorary. That's a pretty
honorary shit, dude.
Holding right there.
Yeah,
it's been exciting to watch him go from only growing outside and and going through some of the tribulations and trials of learning to grow better and become a better grower. And now he's like got all the stuff. He's excited about getting a indoor grow going, and it's cool. I think he's really fit in really well with the community, and he's in all the different Discords, and he's not afraid to ask the questions when you got to ask the questions, and sharing information and flipping us off every day. And so
yes, he's a wonderful addition, and also he has my admiration and true respect. He is California sober, as they call it, in fucking a place that is just not fucking feasible. I don't know how he does it, man. Like, much respect to that. He's a wonderful member of the community, and I love how excited he is to start doing indoors and getting more, man. I'm thankful every day for him.
Yeah, I think we always end up bringing people in to the shit list that are just the community driven ones, and I think they kind of fall in love with it early on, and they fall for who we are, and next thing you know, they're just exactly what you were saying, Big Green Guy. They're adding in their own bits of advice. They're asking questions. They're offering to share beans. They're getting excited. They're coming in, telling everyone good morning and that sort of thing. And I think that there's something really cool about that. And I think that's probably why folks always end up on our shit list, is just they really just stand out in the community. But I think they feel that warm embrace as soon as they jump in. So he's definitely one that sits well in there.
Yeah, it's another welcome member to the shit list. Thank you, BGG, for correcting us. Now, edit out the part where he suggested it, and then I'll just be like, "Hey, our shit list this week." No, just kidding. And since all you, my dear friends that are assembled before me, were so kind to ask, I have nothing to plug. Thank you for listening.
No, it's also your Christmas candy.
Yeah, we've been waiting for your Christmas tree.
Yeah, what the hell?
I fucking told you, dude. I said either the same as Johnny,
toffee or
one of them.
Stuff.
Yeah,
yep.
yeah.
Chocolate orange.
Thanks for listening. I swear.
No, I did. I listened. I didn't know if that was your actual.
Yeah, I thought you were
answer,
just joking around.
I know.
Yeah.
No. First of all, what about me gives you the appearance that I would ever joke around? I'm the serious
Dude.
motherfucker.
I mean, you're the one that laying there butt naked and on camera in front of us all. So I mean,
in my defense, this is my home.
and it's 150 degrees in Southern California right now. So yeah, I understand.
You know what? It got down to 60. So eat those words. You ever heard of something so cruel? 60 degrees.
Yeah, that's when they had to put
60.
a sock on there, big green guy.
Yeah,
you
my
know?
living room right now. My
No,
living
he doesn't
room right
own a
now
pair
is
of socks.
60.
He's already said that.
I know.
He's only got the one to keep it warm.
When I do eventually get to meet all of
Different
you
kind of
fine
sock.
folks,
Exactly.
yeah, the Red Hot Chili Pepper style. No, but when I do eventually get to go to those horrible, or the one horrible coast and the Midwestern, when I get to meet all you wonderful people, I will have to buy pants and shoes beforehand. So it is discerning.
Unless
We-
you
we
come
can
to
meet you
visit
at the
us in
airport,
the
bud.
summertime.
We can meet you
We
with
didn't
him at
shit
the
on a
airport.
state. Just kidding. Yes, you will have to with donated clothes. See, this is the ending we wanted. Talking about me naked on a bed, just nightmarish.
And coming to the Central Coast wearing pants. So that's
Oh, Jesus Christ. On that note,
Yeah.
thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks for joining
Tony,
us, Green Guy.
You stayed for after
and
meeting. No.
Thanks for having me.
Peace.
Thank you.
Later.
see it.
Hello, my friends. It's the Reverend Pirate Frog. Friend of YAG and General Monster, the big green guy, has so kindly offered to give away a pack of Froggetful Wedding, applesauce, and his Odin's Wolf. So if you're interested, send him a message saying YAG off to BGG. That's YAG off.